Dear Agni Yogis, like all religions, Agni Yoga invites us, help a fellow human being in need, your neighbor, as the Bible calls him. The goal and the meaning of existence is to strive upward beyond the limits of the known and to help one another. If someone turns away a hungry man, he is near to being a murderer. Seldom is there not a bit of bread in the house. Do not just hover in the higher spheres in meditation. Climb down into the abysses of earthly life as well, in order to make your contribution to improve the conditions. From the temple, let us go into the cellar. Let us contrive to retain in ourselves not only soaring flight, but also compassion. The new world we want to establish is not open only to the elite of a selected few. It should also enable the poor, the sick, the weak, and the suffering to lead a better life. I feel the human spirit will rise, but welcome the most unfortunate ones. Come, ye naked, we will clothe thee. Come, ye little ones, we will rear thee. Come, ye dumb ones, we will give thee speech. Come, ye blind ones, because with us you see the predestined realm. We had already said, in addition to connecting with the higher world or meditation, service to the common good, and training or self-perfection, the service to the neighbor is the second of the 4 spheres of life. The tasks in this area are different for everyone. One finds here a large, the other a small, and a third perhaps almost no field of activity. One, often a woman, is constantly busy caring for his surroundings. Another, typically a man, deals primarily with the challenges of the 8th pillar, service to the common good. Ideally, we should combine both and give each of them adequate space. Who is my neighbor? Whom should I help? The neighbor whom you are supposed to serve you may find in the circle of your family, among relatives, friends, acquaintances, work colleagues, neighbors, and even complete strangers. When the question arises, who is my neighbor? The best answer is still given by Jesus in the immortal parable of the Good Samaritan. Jesus tells us of a man who fell among thieves and was left half dead. Several travelers, including a priest, passed by and did not care for him. A Samaritan, however, a stranger, despised by the Jews, bound up his wounds, brought him to the nearest inn, and made sure he would be taken care of. This means life itself confronts us with situations which call imperatively for help. We need to recognize sensitively these signs and must not close our hearts to the appeal that reaches us. Rarely do people hear a cry for help and pass by without a heart tremor. Perhaps a brutalized heart will not lend a hand, but still it will be shaken. The parable tells us we should render assistance without regard to the person. Wherever there is need, we have to alleviate it. It is necessary to help everywhere and in everything. If obstacles to assistance be encountered through political, national, or social lines, or in religious belief, such obstacles are unworthy of humanity. Help in all its aspects should be extended to the needy. One must not scrutinize the color of hair when danger threatens. One should not interrogate as to religious belief when it is necessary to save from conflagration. These days you are meeting 5 beggars per route. Charitable organizations of all kinds are ringing at your door or writing begging letters. Daily television transmits pictures of hardship from Haiti via Africa to Bangladesh directly into your living room. In such a time, it is particularly difficult to decide who your neighbor is and whom you should give what. Normally, the mission of your life is not to be fulfilled in distant, foreign regions of the world. First and foremost, you are called upon to help in your immediate surroundings, in the circumstances into which karma has placed you. If we take a closer look, we find that the obligation to serve your neighbor is not as easy to fulfill as it might seem at first sight. In everyday life, many questions arise. For example, the beggar in the street who is stretching out his hand, is he really my neighbor? Should I give him money? Does he deserve your help at all? Is he really in need? Or is his job a business model for making money like any other? Is he not incapable, but only unwilling to do useful work for the community? Here, your discernment and the knowledge of your heart are required. Nobody can spare you the trouble to consider afresh in each individual case. Where is help required? Where is it appropriate? What am I to do? One should know how to conquer the illusion of contradictions. It is needful on the one hand to cultivate kind-heartedness and on the other to understand austerity. For many, such a task is completely insoluble. Only the heart can prompt when the two qualities will not contradict each other. The heart will prompt when it is necessary to rush to the help of one's neighbor. It is impossible to express in a word of law just when the necessity of this or that action becomes evident. Unwritten are the laws of the heart, but only therein does justice dwell, for the heart is the bridge of the worlds. Where are the scales of self-abnegation? Where is the judge of achievement? Where is the measure of duty? The sword of knowledge flashes at the command of the heart, for the heart there will be no contradiction. Does the neighbor want my help at all? There are countless people who objectively are in need of help, but cannot recognize it or do not want to admit it. Even if there is suffering, beware of imposing support where it is not wanted. The sufferer too must be ready. You cannot really help a man unless he chooses to be helped. All you may do up to that point is bread cast upon the waters. Normally, the strict rule applies: render assistance only when you are summoned to do so. I entrust you to offer your help to those who knock untiringly. Do not besiege the sufferers. One advice or one offer to help is sufficient. As soon as your support is rejected, your obligation ends. Am I capable of helping my neighbor at all? You have to ask yourself critically, do you have the necessary skills? Many of the proverbial helpless helpers do not know better themselves. Often, with all their goodwill, they are just causing chaos and making the situation even worse. It is a well-known phenomenon of all others, people who are not even able to solve their own problems love to choose a social, helping or advisory profession, such as educator, nurse, psychologist, psychotherapist, or even teacher. Do not enlarge these troops. Better act according to the motto, first help yourself before you set out to help others. Above all, you have to gain knowledge. First of all, get familiar with the foundations of existence. It takes a lot of wisdom to be able to provide effective help. Is it possible at all to help the neighbor? One of the major problems of today's time is people who are unable to cope with their own lives and, in actual fact, are in urgent need of help, often have the biggest mouth and do not want to listen to anyone who is ahead of them. Despite their obvious hardship, they know everything better, blame others for their miserable situation, and are not willing or able to recognize, accept, or put into practice good advice. They, too, are not yet ready for your help. Make sure that you do not waste your valuable time and energy on a charitable project that is doomed from the start. What if my neighbor is himself to blame because his own weaknesses have put him in his troublesome position? He nevertheless deserves your help. However, in such a case, you should not even try to clean up the situation. Rather, you must encourage your neighbor to start working on himself in order to overcome his imperfections. However, not many are willing or able to do so. There is the well-known example of someone who won €1 million in the lottery and then squanders them quickly, be it because he wastes them for amusement, be it because he simply cannot handle money and has no idea how to invest such a large sum effectively so that it will yield benefits in the long term. To support such a person with money would probably be pointless.